2024 Best Supporting Actor nominee Mark Ruffalo stars in 13 Going on 30. This is currently available on Netflix with audio description. Look at that. This film's like 20 years old and it has audio description on Netflix. That's fire. That's what that is. This film also stars Jennifer Garner, Judy Greer, and Andy Serkis. And it's a delightful film. It's one of my favorites. I didn't say best film. A lot of people have like the list of comfort films. This is very much a comfort film for me. I've seen 13 Going on 30 at least 10 times. This was above 10. Not, I don't think 20 yet. I'm somewhere between 10 and 20. You kind of start to lose track, but I would say at least 10. I've seen 13 Going on 30. So, this was fun. This was another fun time through this film. Jennifer Garner is excellent in this film. I do have to figure out a way. I've noticed that Netflix, I guess starting in February, has figured out how to start pushing me into another film so I can't watch credits anymore. That's a new problem for me. Netflix didn't used to do that. It's a problem that's prevented me from seeing like who describes crap in Peacock and Paramount Plus. I have to figure out how to now. I'm losing more and more streaming services. I'm going to be down to just Disney Plus and Max where I'm going to be able to get audio description information. It's an older British guy. It sounds like the track was made 20 years ago, if I'm being honest. So yeah, it's not a new produced audio track for this film. It sounds like something that we made a while back and have just kept and traveled along with this film, which means traveling audio description can't be that hard. Just can't be, because this doesn't feel like audio description that was made recently. It's good audio description. As somebody who's seen 13 Going on 30 quite a bit visually, there were not problems that I had with the audio description. I suppose if you really want to get nitpicky about it, since she does work in fashion, at a fashion magazine, sort of thing, when she grows up, that you could put more of a heightened effort on fashion, but the film itself is not necessarily about fashion. The film itself is about a girl who suddenly wakes up as an adult, and the humor in that. But if I was to give any sort of note or feedback to this audio description, it would be that technically this film is about. So trying to point out what people are wearing all the time might benefit for some people. Some people might be looking for that. It's very sort of like Devil Wears Prada. It's like, yes, it's about one thing, but it's also about fashion. In the end, at the end, they are working in a fashion world, and the same can be said of 13 Going on 30. They're working for this magazine, and there's a lot of elements around that. Plus you have Mark Ruffalo's character playing a photographer, so obviously everything that he wants to do is a still, photo, which we would need description for, that kind of thing. Is like there's a lot of visual art that is happening sort of subtextually throughout the film, but is not really core to the actual development of the plot. This film is really about a little girl who goes in, magic happens, she wakes up as an adult, and she's like, oh my god, what just happened? And then she goes and tries to find her best friend, but she finds out her best friend is not her best friend anymore, because in this alternate reality, she turned out to be a bitch. And she has to live with the repercussions of that, and figure out how to change her life and bring a 13-year-old's attitude to a 30-year-old woman's career. And along for the ride is Judy Greer playing the frenemy, who's delightful in this. Every once in a while, it's one of those stealth performances. It's one of those films where I know that film snobs will be like, no. I wish we could, though. I wish like there was a way to go back and give people nominations for things when we realize that's the best thing that they probably have done or ever will do. And Judy Greer's performance in 13 Going on 30 stands out to me as being something where it's like, yeah, this is actually a really great performance. Even like 20 years later, she still handles this perfectly. And if I could throw her a supporting actress nomination, I totally would. Jennifer Garner is excellent in this as well. And there's a reason why they've had her do this again recently, where she's had to swap and pretend to be a child in the new Netflix movie where she does it with Ed Helms and her two kids. And yeah, she's body swapped again. And so yeah, it's something that she's obviously really good at. So I wouldn't mind. We don't really nominate comedic performances enough. It's one of the reasons why when there was such a huge push for Barbie, I was just like, I don't know, we don't do this enough. We always look back on it later on and we go, oh, that should have been nominated. And then we sing a sad song for all the performances past that were never nominated, from Bill Murray to Groundhog Day, all the way on up through Jim Carrey and Truman Show to, Will Ferrell and Elf. It's just, and they don't get nominated. And we just, every once in a while we get one right. We get a Joan Cusack in and Outs. Melissa McCarthy in Bridesmaids. We get something that is a memorable comedic performance, but we so frequently don't that, it's too snobbish, it's too elite to nominate these performances. And Jennifer Garner and Judy Greer are both excellent here. And they should have had a case made for them. Sadly, not. People saw this as, I guess, too much of a big ripoff or whatever, and just didn't latch on to it. Funny thing is, it still holds 20 years later. There's still fans for this movie. So it's a fun movie. It's a movie that I'm gonna overgrade because this movie hits every note it needs to for me. I think Mark Ruffalo is he went through a period where he played sort of like the romantic comedy lead opposite several people, also against Reese Witherspoon and Just Like Heaven. And he's good in all of them, but he always kind of plays like the same sort of like everyman character, the sort of unassuming, not instantly hot, but sort of that cute hot, the kind of hot that sneaks up on you type of thing that the girl's supposed to realize and be like, wow, I didn't see it right away, but you're cute. But while he was doing all these films, he was also still doing a lot of really solid dramatic work. This is early in his career, so I would definitely tag You Can Count on Me, The Last Castle. These are all still around the same time period. So check out 13 Going on 30 if you never have. I'd be shocked if you never have. It's a film I think that everybody kind of casually watched over time. It's one of those films also that I'm always waiting for them to announce that there's going to be a Broadway musical adaptation of 13 Going on 30. Like, I feel like it's coming based on the musicals that they're announcing, based on the fact that this movie, again, has stood the test and people still watch it. I would be surprised if they didn't. It's not the movie that is hot, that was just in theaters. They want to bring back the older titles, the nostalgic titles, and get the feels out. It's only been in recent years that we've seen stuff like Beetlejuice and Groundhog Day, Back to the Future. So it's entirely possible that in 5-10 years we'll see 13 Going on 30, although Big the Musical happened much, much closer to the release of the actual movie. So, yeah. Anyway, all that's out there. That's a lot of nonsense. Audio description, good job. I've heard this guy do audio description before. It's solid work. I don't know. He's the British guy that always does audio description for anything that sounds like it was made 20 years ago. I don't know what to say. It's that guy. I don't know what his name is. It's usually like ITFC or whatever when you get down to the end. It's a company that doesn't seem to still make audio description, but yeah, it's great audio description. Like I said, my only note was it's a magazine. A lot of this is about fashion and visual art, and if you wanted to lean more into that, you could. The film isn't really about that though, so I didn't really miss a beat in the film. I just have seen this film 10 times, so yeah, I get it. Um, and that's it. 13 going on 30. Check it out. Mark Ruffalo is such an underrated actor. I hope one day he wins an Academy Award. He deserves one. His career presents itself. I don't think Poor Things is going to be that film for him, but at some point, hopefully he will. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'm giving 13 going on 30 an A+. It's a grade that I reserve for just to signify that this is one of my favorite films of all time. And I've seen it an insane amount of times. I did 40 for 40. Listed a whole bunch of films that were in that same boat. Yeah, quality-wise, it doesn't really matter. It's how a film plays out for me. These are films that I saw, and maybe they were, probably when I saw them, they were still, I thought they were pretty good. B+, A- A films, you know what I'm saying? But then I just kept watching them, and watching them, and watching them, and watching them, and watching them. And there's something about it. There's that thing that you can't really, that intangible quality that lends itself to certain films. I don't even know why I continue to watch films. It's everything. The whole mix just works for me. So anyway, thanks for being here. I have a website, macthemovieguy.com. You can follow me on X, Threads, or Instagram at macthemovieguy. You can go to the audio description project, adp.acb.org. It'll let you know what has audio description and where you can watch it. And you can go to the adna.org. That's the adna.org. And let you know who's narrating your favorite films and television series. That's it. This might even work as a Valentine's Day review, except I'm not releasing on Valentine's Day, early Valentine's Day present. I will see you guys on the other side.